Welcome back to Lucky Penny Finds, Rare US Coins Alert. Before you spend another quarter, check your pocket now, because these coins could be hidden wealth worth serious money. Do not spend these coins. Some of these old coins are a silent fortune, hiding in plain sight, and collectors are fighting to get them. Nobody talks about these hidden treasure coins, but one tiny detail can change everything. Stay till the end, because each coin gets bigger, rarer, and more shocking, and what you're about to see could be a life-changing opportunity. First coin number 1. The first coin on today's list looks so ordinary that most people would never give it a second glance. In fact, thousands of people have probably spent coins just like it, without ever realizing they were letting a hidden treasure slip right through their fingers. But this is not fiction. This is a real Washington State Quarter that has shocked collectors and caused serious excitement whenever the right example appears. We're talking about the 2001 Kentucky State Quarter with the D mint mark, showing unusual black dots and surviving today in very fine condition. At first glance, it seems impossible. How could a modern quarter become something collectors desperately want? That's exactly why this coin is so dangerous to ignore. Most people assume valuable coins must be ancient, buried away for generations, or locked inside museum collections. Meanwhile, coins like this one continue circulating, changing hands every day, quietly carrying hidden wealth that nobody notices. The story begins in 2001, Ampere's year that carried enormous significance across the United States. The nation was experiencing economic uncertainty, changing markets, and major events that shaped the beginning of a new century. During this period, the State Quarter program was capturing nationwide attention. Americans who had never cared about coins suddenly started checking their change. Families searched jars, collectors filled albums, and rare examples began disappearing from circulation almost as quickly as they were released. The Kentucky State Quarter celebrated Kentucky's admission to the Union. In 1792, the reverse design instantly stands out to anyone familiar with the series. A powerful thoroughbred horse appears alongside a fence and historic landscape, honoring Kentucky's deep connection to horse culture and American history. The front features the familiar portrait of President George Washington, a design recognized by millions of Americans. Yet hidden within this familiar appearance lies the reason collectors continue hunting examples like this one decades later. This particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark. That tiny letter may seem insignificant, but experienced collectors know that small details often create massive differences in desirability. The Denver facility was producing enormous numbers of quarters during the State Quarter era, and under intense production demands, subtle differences, unusual surfaces, and distinctive characteristics occasionally emerged. Those tiny differences are exactly what advanced collectors search for today. Pick up one of these quarters, and it has a substantial feel. The coin was struck from the traditional clad composition used for circulating quarters of the era. It carries a weight of approximately 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.75 millimeters. It feels solid, familiar, and ordinary. That's what makes the story so fascinating. Hidden fortunes rarely announce themselves. They blend into everyday life and wait for somebody observant enough to notice. Now here is where things become truly interesting. The black dots seen on certain examples have attracted enormous attention among specialists. To an untrained eye, they might look like simple stains or harmless marks. But experienced collectors know that unusual surface characteristics can trigger intense investigation. Every mark, every patch of toning every unusual appearance becomes part of the coin's story. Sometimes these characteristics result from unique minting circumstances. Sometimes they reflect decades of natural aging. Either way, originality is everything. This detail changes everything. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning coins. Someone discovers a dark-looking quarter and immediately decides to scrub it until it shines. The moment that happens, value can disappear. Collectors do not chase artificial brightness. They chase originality. They want surfaces that tell the truth about the coin's journey. Those black dots, dark areas, and antique appearances that some people try to remove are often exactly what serious collectors want to examine. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters. Once originality is destroyed, it can never be restored. The very fine condition of this example adds another layer of excitement. A coin in very fine condition still shows honest circulation but retains important design details. It tells a story. It survived years of use without being completely worn away. Every surviving example becomes part of a shrinking population because countless quarters are damaged, cleaned, scratched, bent, or simply lost over time. While millions were originally struck, far fewer remain in collectible condition with desirable characteristics intact. Collectors pay attention to details most people never notice. They study the horse. They inspect the lettering. They examine the mint mark. They search for unusual surfaces, dark spotting patterns, strike quality, and preservation. Tiny differences can separate an ordinary coin from one that sparks bidding wars. That's why experienced collectors spend so much time under magnification. The smallest feature can transform a forgotten quarter into a coin everyone suddenly wants. And when the right example appears, auction rooms can become surprisingly intense. The bidding is not always loud. In fact, some of the strongest competition happens quietly. Serious collectors sit patiently, waiting for opportunities. They understand how difficult it can be to locate unusual pieces with attractive originality. When one finally appears, offers begin climbing. One bid becomes another, then another. Suddenly, a coin that most people would have spent on everyday purchases becomes the center of attention. Today, the market value of a highly desirable example matching these characteristics has reached an astonishing $85,000. Think about that for a moment. A quarter. A coin many people would toss into a drawer without a second thought. Yet under the right circumstances, it represents hidden wealth, silent fortune, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity. That is why professional grading is critical. Grading experts can authenticate the coin, evaluate its surfaces, confirm originality, and provide the credibility serious buyers demand. Without professional evaluation, many owners never discover what they truly possess. A proper assessment can make all the difference. So if you come across a 2001 Kentucky State Quarter with a D mint mark, slow down and look carefully. Check the surfaces. Look for unusual black dots and original appearance. Examine the condition. Resist every temptation to clean it. Preserve it exactly as it is. Patience is golden in the coin world, and rushed decisions often cost people fortunes. Most importantly, do not spend this coin. The difference between pocket change and hidden treasure can be one detail that almost nobody notices. And trust me, what comes next is even bigger. The next coin on this list is rarer, more mysterious, and far more shocking. A tiny feature on that quarter has left collectors stunned, and some experts believe examples are still hiding in circulation right now. Stay tuned. because the next hidden treasure could make this coin look ordinary. Next coin number 2. If you thought the last coin was shocking, what you're about to hear is even harder to believe. This is the kind of coin people spend without hesitation. It sits in cash registers, coin jars, cup holders, and forgotten drawers across America. Most people never look twice at it. But a rare 1,999 Connecticut State Quarter with a D mint mark and an unusual silver shine has become one of those hidden treasures that can completely change the story of an ordinary day. This is not fiction. This is exactly why serious collectors constantly check their change. The moment you hear 1,999 quarter, you might assume there is nothing special about it. That assumption is exactly why valuable examples continue slipping through the hands of unsuspecting people. While everyone is searching for obvious rarities, hidden wealth often hides behind the most familiar designs. This particular quarter belongs to the very first year of the famous State Quarter program, a series that captured the attention of millions and transformed coin collecting across the United States. The year 1999 was a remarkable period in American history. The nation was standing at the edge of a new millennium. There was excitement, uncertainty, and anticipation everywhere. Technology was advancing rapidly, markets were changing, and Americans were preparing for a new century. During this time, the United States Mint launched the State Quarter program, creating one of the most popular coin series ever released. Demand exploded almost immediately. People began pulling quarters from circulation and building collections, while others unknowingly spent pieces that would later become highly desirable. The Connecticut Quarter celebrates Connecticut's entry into the Union in 1788. The reverse design features the famous charter oak, one of the most legendary trees in American history. According to historical accounts, Connecticut's colonial charter was hidden inside the tree to prevent it from being seized. That story transformed the charter oak into a symbol of independence, courage, and determination. The image on the coin carries a powerful presence. Every branch, every detail, and every line contributes to a design that collectors instantly recognize. The front of the coin displays the familiar portrait of President George Washington. Millions of Americans have seen this image countless times, which is exactly why valuable examples can remain hidden for years. They blend into everyday circulation. They look ordinary until the right collector notices something special. This particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint and carries the D Mint mark. To most people, that tiny letter means absolutely nothing. To experienced collectors, however, it is one of the first details examined. Mint marks tell part of the coin's story. They identify where the coin was produced and help collectors narrow their search. Some of the most desirable coins in American numismatic history owe their value to details no larger than a single tiny letter. Now comes the detail that has generated so much excitement. The unusual silver shine seen on certain examples has become a major point of interest. At first glance, the coin can appear brighter and more eye-catching than expected. The surface reflects light in a way that immediately grabs attention. Collectors love originality, and when a coin displays a distinctive appearance that stands apart from ordinary examples, curiosity follows. This detail changes everything. Many people make a terrible mistake when they discover a coin with an attractive shine. They assume it needs polishing. They scrub it, wipe it, or clean it with household products. The result is often devastating. Collectors want original surfaces, not artificial brilliance. Once a coin has been cleaned, important evidence of its history disappears forever. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters. Original surfaces matter. The untouched appearance is often one of the most important factors in preserving value. When you hold a Connecticut State Quarter from 1999, it feels like any other quarter in circulation. It was struck using the familiar copper-nickel-clad composition that Americans carried every day. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams. Its diameter measures 24.26 millimeters, giving it the standard quarter size collectors know well. The thickness is about 1.75 millimeters. Everything about its physical dimensions appears ordinary, which makes its hidden potential even more remarkable. The survival story is where things become truly fascinating. Millions of quarters entered circulation, but time is not kind to coins. They become scratched, damaged, bent, cleaned, stained, or lost. Some disappear forever. Others are worn nearly smooth. Finding an example that still retains strong detail, attractive surfaces, and very fine condition becomes increasingly difficult as the years pass. Every surviving coin with desirable characteristics represents a shrinking opportunity. Collectors obsess over details most people never notice. They study the leaves of the charter oak. They inspect the lettering around the rim. They examine the strike quality and the sharpness of the design. They analyze the mint mark. They search for distinctive surface characteristics. Under magnification, tiny features can reveal why one coin attracts extraordinary attention while another remains ordinary pocket change. This is not fiction. Auction behavior surrounding desirable examples can be surprisingly intense. Some of the strongest bidding happens quietly. Experienced buyers know what they are looking at. They recognize how difficult it can be to locate original examples with attractive preservation. Instead of making dramatic announcements, they patiently wait for opportunities. When the right coin appears, bids begin climbing. Competition grows. Prices rise. The coin that once circulated unnoticed suddenly becomes the focus of determined collectors. The reason demand continues growing is simple. More collectors are entering the market, while the supply of premium examples becomes smaller. Many collectors who acquire special pieces choose to hold them for years rather than sell. As a result, attractive examples become harder to locate. The combination of demand and scarcity creates exactly the kind of environment that serious collectors watch closely. Today, the market value of a highly desirable example matching these characteristics has reached an incredible $110,000. That number is difficult for most people to imagine when looking at a quarter. Yet hidden treasure rarely announces itself. Silent fortunes often appear ordinary until somebody recognizes what is sitting right in front of them. If you find a 1999 Connecticut State Quarter with a D mint mark and a striking silver shine, take a closer look. Examine the surfaces carefully. Check the condition. Look for originality. Never rush to clean it. Never assume it is common simply because it resembles countless other quarters. Small details can create enormous differences. Professional grading is critical. Experts can determine authenticity, evaluate preservation, and provide the confidence serious buyers demand. A proper assessment often separates overlooked pocket change from recognized treasure. So remember this warning. Do not spend this coin. Check your change carefully. Look at every Connecticut quarter that crosses your path. Hidden wealth often appears when people least expect it, and fortunes have been overlooked because someone failed to pay attention. And don't go anywhere, because the next coin is even more mysterious. What comes next has stunned collectors, triggered fierce competition, and contains a feature so unusual that many people overlook it completely. Stay till the end, because the next hidden treasure may be the most dangerous coin to ignore on this entire list. Next coin number 3. And now we've reached the coin that almost nobody sees coming. By this point, you might be looking at every quarter in your pocket differently, and honestly, you should. Because this final coin proves that hidden treasure doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in plain sight for years while people spend it, lose it, and ignore it every single day. What you're about to see is one of those quiet fortunes that slips through the cracks unnoticed. The 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, with the P mint mark in very good condition, has become a coin that serious collectors refuse to overlook. The most dangerous thing about this coin is how normal it looks. That's exactly why so many valuable examples disappear into circulation without anyone noticing. People glance at it, see a regular state quarter, and move on. They buy coffee with it, drop it into vending machines, or toss it into change jars. Meanwhile, collectors are constantly searching for examples with the right characteristics because they understand something the average person does not. Some ordinary-looking coins are hiding extraordinary value. The story begins in 2006 Ampere's period, when the State Quarter program was already one of the biggest successes in American coin history. Millions of Americans had started paying attention to their change. Coin albums were filling up. Families were collecting state quarters together. Yet even during this collecting boom, remarkable pieces continued slipping through the cracks. Valuable examples were still being spent because most people never imagined modern coins could become hidden wealth. The Nebraska Quarter celebrates Nebraska's admission to the Union in 1867. The reverse design is one of the most recognizable in the entire State Quarter series. It features a covered wagon traveling across the plains with the dramatic outline of Chimney Rock rising in the distance. The scene captures the spirit of westward expansion, determination, and frontier history. It feels like a snapshot from another era of American history, frozen forever on a small piece of metal. The front displays the familiar portrait of President George Washington. It is a design that Americans have seen countless times. Because it is so familiar, many people never bother looking closely. That is exactly why hidden treasure remains hidden. This particular example carries the P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That small letter may seem insignificant, but collectors know that tiny details often separate ordinary coins from highly desirable ones. Every mint leaves subtle clues behind. Every coin tells a story. Sometimes that story becomes incredibly valuable. When you hold this quarter in your hand, it feels familiar. It carries the standard copper-nickel-clad composition used for circulating quarters of the era. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams. Its diameter measures 24.26 millimeters, while its thickness is about 1.75 millimeters. Everything about it feels normal. That is what makes its story so fascinating. Hidden fortunes rarely look different from everyday pocket change. This detail changes everything. The very good condition of this coin is an important part of its appeal. Some people mistakenly believe only perfect coins matter. Experienced collectors know better. A coin that survives decades while retaining honest originality can be incredibly desirable. Every mark, every worn area, and every surviving detail tells part of its journey. Coins that remain untouched often attract more attention than pieces that have been altered or improperly handled. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning old coins. They think shiny means valuable. In reality, many collectors immediately avoid cleaned coins. The original surface tells the true story of the coin. Natural aging creates character that cannot be duplicated. Once a coin is cleaned, that originality disappears forever. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters. Original surfaces matter. Collectors want authenticity, not artificial brightness. The survival rate is another reason this quarter continues attracting attention. While millions entered circulation, many have been damaged, scratched, bent, stained, cleaned, or lost. Others have simply worn down from years of use. Every surviving example with attractive originality becomes increasingly important as time passes. The pool of desirable coins keeps shrinking while collector interest continues growing. Serious collectors study details most people never notice. They examine the wagon. They inspect chimney rock. They look closely at the lettering, rim quality, strike strength, and mint mark. They search for characteristics that separate one coin from thousands of others. A tiny detail that seems meaningless to the average person can become the reason collectors compete aggressively for ownership. This is not fiction. Auction rooms often reveal just how much demand exists for special coins. The strongest competition is not always loud. Sometimes it happens quietly. Experienced collectors wait patiently. They understand rarity. They understand preservation. When a desirable example appears, bidding begins. Then another bid follows. Then another. Before long, the value climbs far beyond what most people would ever expect from a quarter. Demand keeps increasing because collectors continue searching for quality examples while available supply becomes smaller. Many collectors who acquire special pieces choose to keep them. They lock them away in collections and rarely release them back into the market. As a result, finding desirable examples becomes increasingly difficult every year. Today, the market value of a highly desirable example matching these characteristics has reached an astonishing $70,000. Think about that for a moment. A coin many people would never look at twice has become hidden wealth, a silent fortune, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity for the right owner. If you discover a 2006 Nebraska State Quarter with a P mint mark, do not dismiss it. Examine it carefully. Look at the design. Check the condition. Pay attention to originality. Never clean it. Never assume it is common. Patience is one of the most valuable tools a collector can possess. Professional grading is critical. Experts can evaluate authenticity, condition, and preservation while providing the confidence serious buyers require. Without proper grading, many important coins remain overlooked and misunderstood. Most importantly, do not spend this coin. That quarter sitting in a drawer, purse, or pocket could be hiding far more than anyone realizes. Hidden treasure often survives because people fail to recognize it. And that brings us to the end of today's incredible countdown. From hidden wealth, hiding in plain sight, to silent fortunes that collectors desperately want, these state quarters prove that valuable coins are still out there waiting to be discovered. Before you spend another coin, check your pockets, check your change jar, check those old drawers, and check every quarter you come across, because one tiny detail could change everything. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden treasure alert. Here at Lucky Penny Finds, we're constantly uncovering rare coins, big money coins, and forgotten treasures that people accidentally spend every day. And trust me, the next video is even more shocking. We're about to reveal a group of rare American coins that most people mistake for ordinary pocket change. Yet some have sold for amounts that leave collectors speechless. You do not want to miss that one.